What is up, guys? Teddy Cornwell here. Welcome to the Underdog Talk. I mean, the world's most underrated podcast on earth. And ladies and gentlemen, there's just something about the damn underdog. But I mean, today's guest, fitness enthusiast, Love Island contestant, I mean, just overall champ himself, Josh Goldstein. What is up, man? How you doing today?
I am doing well, my man. I appreciate you having me on. Let's get this thing rocking.
And I said off air, bro, I've been hooked on Love Island. I mean, bro, it is the amount of times my jaw dropped in that damn show was nutty. So I have to ask the $1 million question right off the bat. How does one get on Love Island? I mean, do you have to like apply or something? And then how do they pick you?
Yeah, man, that's definitely the $1 million question for sure. It's honestly a crazy ass experience. Like you never think in a million years you'll be thrown into a situation like that. And you kind of just, adapt or die, right? You kind of just figure it out on the fly. Luckily I had some, background in, being on TV when it comes to sports and stuff like that. But yeah, so most people get scouted on Instagram, honestly, or through social media. They have like, scouts that go and look for people that they feel like they'd be good on the show or to apply or things like that. For me personally, it's an open application, right? So anyone can kind of go on their website and apply for the show. I was actually in my last year of grad school, playing my last eligibility year for college baseball. And I get a call one day and I'd say, hey, this is, blah, blah, blah from Love Island. I'd love to have you on for an interview tomorrow, whatever. I'm like, love what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is crazy. So I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I thought it was a prank call. And I hung up and I immediately called my sister. And I just had a feeling it was her. She called me and she's like, oh my God, they called you back. That's crazy, blah, blah. I guess she had been signing me up for reality shows behind my back for the last like 2+ years. And Love Island finally called. So they must have sifted through one of the applications and saw something that they liked. And, kind of the rest is history from there.
I mean, shit, I wonder if they would have picked me. I would have got tatted up like you and whatever to be on the show, big man, whatever to be on the show. And what was it actually like on Love Island? And then, digging deep, what did you actually learn about yourself on the show?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like I said, it's definitely a wild experience, something that you never think you're going to be, doing in your lifetime. And I think that's why it kind of really resonated and appealed to me at the time, because like I said before, I was a high level college baseball player. 2020 was my big year to try and get to the next level and get drafted or get signed. Obviously, everyone knows what happened in COVID and the draft shortened from 40 rounds to 5. Wasn't my time. Decided to go back to school. We all got a year of eligibility back. Went back to the World Series. Had an amazing year. Basically had a choice to either go and go play indie ball, right, and go try and chase that dream of playing pro baseball, or this fell into my lap, right? This opportunity, kind of at a good time where like you're transitioning out of college, you don't really have a full-time job yet, kind of stuff like that. And you know what? I've kind of played it safe my whole life and kind of done that. And I was like, I know what I'm going to get out of pro ball. You have fun. You say you played pro ball. Maybe you're fortunate enough to play a few years, maybe move up and do something cool. I have no idea what I'm going to get out of this. Let's fucking go for it, right? Like, what's the worst that could happen? So it was kind of a last minute decision for me. Kind of like I said, I was in the College World Series. Next day, I'm on the plane in Hawaii. Like, it was just like I had no time to really think. But the experience was absolutely wild, man. Again, hadn't really watched the show before. They made me watch a couple episodes and a season before just so I get a vibe of like what's going on. Even when you fly out there, you really don't know if you're going to make the show or not. They send people home, right? So they want to see you in person. They want to see how you are, behind the camera, or just kind of like your banter, or just being who you are, right? So then like 5 days before you film, they finally tell you that, you made the show, your original cast. You go in there, day of filming, you still don't know. Then they tell me I'm the first guy that's going to walk out. My head's spinning because no one's ever stepped forward for the first guy. None of the girls have ever stepped forward. And I'm freaking out. Just the whole thing was just a whirlwind experience, bro. All I can just describe it as like constant anxiety and like you have no control over everything. You have no idea what's going on. Like I'm a very much person who likes to control situations, right? I'm a leader. I was a captain, stuff like that. Like you have no control over anything. You're just there being yourself and, whatever happens, happens. So I just kind of took it as a fun thing and just ran with it, bro. Unbelievable experience. I met some really cool ass people, some of which I still talk to this day, just genuine cool ass people that I'm happy and fortunate enough to call friends. But yeah, just something that like the people that have gone through it have this bond because it's so hard to describe what you go through. And then going from a nobody to being in the public eye and then kind of just going through all this together, right? So that's why I feel like we're really close. But for me, I think the experience was really, really cool. And you just kind of, take it with a grain of salt and have fun with it and see where that goes.
And we had Chase Demore on the podcast. I forget what show he was on. He was on one of those.
He was on Too Hot to Handle. I've ran into him in passing a couple times in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, Too Hot to Handle. And obviously everything happens for a reason, I guess. I guess it was your calling to be on that podcast, or that, not podcast, while you're on the podcast, to be on that show. And something that really stood out to me was you're on another podcast and you're talking about how adversity and trauma create a warrior. And that really resonated with me, being the underdog, being that Underdog Talk podcast where everything seems to be stacked against, the underdog. Now, if you wouldn't mind talking about more about how hard times make that warrior, hard times make, someone who's going to be battle tested. Would you mind talking more about that, Josh?
Absolutely, my man. I love that mindset. I love that mentality. I'm a firm believer, tough times don't last, tough people do. And I really think I'm a true believer in, like, you need to go through some type of adversity, some type of hard time, some type of trauma to be able to be that person on the other end, that success, that person who understands the grind, the person who, if something's been given to you your whole life. And again, there's people that can be successful that way. But like for me, I'm a firm believer, and I love my journey just through life because it really embodies that underdog and working hard and grinding. And I think that I really respect and cherish what I have now because I've gone through all that. Like I was always like a natural athlete, but I wouldn't really consider myself like a true baseball player. I was actually a hockey guy growing up. That was my number one sport. Ended up getting a better scholarship to play baseball and just went into it, a top 5 D2 team in the whole country every year, always fighting for a regional championship. I was in a regional championship game every year I was there. And I went there and everyone's, a superstar, right? And like, it was kind of eye-opening for me. But I was also very, I guess, wise enough and mature enough to know, like, listen, I'm not going to start over this kid who's probably going to get drafted, right? So let me redshirt my freshman year. Let me become way better at this sport. I used to play, golf, hockey, baseball, all in the same year, captain of all 3. And then you finally focus on one sport, right? And then you're just like, okay, let me dive into this. I will admit I was not the best baseball player. I wasn't the best second baseman at that school, but I became the best second baseman, right? So like it all kind of happens. I basically, was wise enough to go into the coach's office and say, listen, this guy's playing. I'm not. What do I have to do to be at that level, right? It's just common sense. He's like, you need to get faster. You need to get on base more. And you need to score more runs. And if you can do that and you can not make errors, you can play defense, you'll play, right? That's what I did that whole offseason. I went from running a 6.9. I worked on my speed. I ran a 6.5 60, right? I worked on my defense. Yeah, I did all that. I worked on getting on base. My OBP was, top 10 in the record books. Like I got hit by pitches. I got on base. I was stealing bags. Like you just have to be very self-aware and just work hard. I was the first guy. I was on T-work. I was first guy showing up to morning lift at 5:30 in the morning. I was doing extra work. I was really just trying to soak everything in and learn as much as I could. And it's amazing when you have that mindset and you're athletic and you're dedicated and you have, resiliency and all that stuff, how much better you get at something. Just people just delay what they need to do. Like I think a perfect quote that I've heard recently is like, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding, right? Just do the fucking work and good things will happen. Don't complain. Don't be like, oh, let me try and cut corners this. Just do it and do it every single day and every single day, not for a day, not for a week, not for a month, but for a long period. And eventually you'll get there, right? And that's kind of what I've always been about. So to kind of shorten all that, I ended up, getting a lot better. Sophomore year, still didn't really start much, right? And then finally he called me and he's like, hey, I'm sorry it's taken this long. They tried like 5 other people before me. He's like, but you're going to start this whole week and just do your thing. And I was like, I appreciate the call, Skip, but this is the last call you're going to ever have to make. Hung up the phone. From that day on, I started every single game at second base for that school for 3.5 straight years and, broke some records, just had an amazing career, met some really cool people, went to 2 World Series. And it's just, I think it's a firm believer in like, I just wasn't lucky, right? I just wasn't given a good shot. I even had the opportunity to transfer. Like my dad was like, maybe you should transfer. I had coaches hit me up and I was like, I know I can play here. I just haven't gotten a shot to play, right? Like if you give me that shot, if you give me a start, I will never look back. Because I know what it's like to sit and watch someone in a spot that you can play and you've been working your ass off, right? And like you keep your head up. Like I've been such a good teammate. I didn't put anyone down. I wasn't like, oh, I should be playing, blah, 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 blah. I was just like, it'll come. Just keep doing your thing, right? It'll come. And I think that if more people live with that mindset, not even just sports and not even just baseball, bro, just like anything in life, good things will happen if you're a good person and you work hard and you do the right thing. Eventually they will happen if you just delay that gratification. And that's kind of how my journey was. And then heading into, just opportunities in general, Love Island, modeling, different things like that, being able to own your own business, all that stuff. And I think that if you live with that mindset, I think it's made me a tougher person going through all that, rather than if I just went there and started freshman year and did all that. Like, I wouldn't know what it's like to work. I probably wouldn't do extra work, right? I probably would have just clocked in, clocked out. Same thing with school or with what, like, I was a great student, but I also worked at it, right? Like, I wasn't like a natural writer or a natural, this or that. So I think it just embodies everything that you kind of got to go through. I believe the best motherfuckers in the world are the people who had it the toughest, and the people who were not given anything, and the people who have gone through tough times, or gone through being super poor, or gone through losing people in their life, or whatever the case may be, because you need to go through those things to be able to be the best version of yourself. And I think that, being on experiences like Love Island, I sucked about talking about my emotions. I would be so vanilla with every girl that I was ever with prior to that, right? Like, I just didn't know how to talk about my emotions. And I think that being on that show really made me grow as a man, to be honest with you. And like, you're talking about your feelings 24/7. It made me uncomfortable at first, but then you break through that barrier and you're like, okay, I learned a lot about myself. I know this is how I can communicate with women. This is how I can open up and be vulnerable, and whatever the case may be. And I don't think I would have been as mature in that emotional intelligence as I am now if I didn't go through something like that.
100%. I think when you're in that uncomfortable moment, that's when you come out of your shell and you grind. I was in an uncomfortable moment. My grandmother was dying a few weeks ago, and
Uh,
I was like, I don't want to go. I don't want to see her. One of my best friends goes, dude, life's about being uncomfortable. You're going to regret that later if you don't go. And it was obviously the decision. I had to go and see her before she, passed. But well, she hasn't passed yet, but is going to. And I had to just do that uncomfortable thing. And I think sometimes you got to do that uncomfortable thing, and that's what's going to create you. Now, what advice would you give to someone who's going through that dark time, that hard time in their life where, everything just feels stacked against them, Josh? Nothing seems to be working the way. They're in that darkness. What would your advice be, sir?
For sure, for sure. First of all, I want to say I'm truly sorry about your grandmother. I hope she's okay for the time that she has left, and it's definitely not easy to lose someone, especially as close to family as you are. But I think that advice to someone, honestly, man, is just like, in my head, like, I think that mindset is everything, and I think that you can either decide to wake up every day and feel sorry for yourself and have be depressed, and I think depression is a real thing. Right? I'm not saying that depression is not, I'm not saying that anxiety is not, but I think that a mindset and the way you look at stuff can alter the way that you think in general, the way that you feel. I think you have two choices when you wake up: either be in a good fucking mood or be in a bad fucking mood, right? Like, and you're the only one that can change your situation. And I'm a firm believer in that. Everyone's looking for, oh, well, if this didn't happen to me, or if that guy didn't do, or like whatever. Like, when you stop pointing the finger out at everything and you start pointing it on you, that's when you can truly sit down and actually change and like do something great and like make an impact on people, and kind of go about it the right way. And I also am a firm believer in, like, whatever you're going through, somebody has gone through something worse, right? Like, you're probably not going through the worst of the worst that nobody's ever experienced in the time everyone's been on earth, right? So just think about, like, someone's always got it worse than you, and they're still kicking, right? They're doing okay, they're plugging away, maybe they're probably maybe even more positive than you are. So like, I just think that just try and change your mindset and stack up little victories. Don't look at the big picture. Maybe you're not in the best financial situation, right? Maybe your career didn't happen the way that you want to. Maybe fortunately time is on your side. Maybe you're 30, young, something like that. Maybe, you got broken up with, or whatever. People died in your life. Like, if you just start to like think and change your mindset and be like, okay, this is the situation. I can't change it for what it is right now, but let's get little victories each day. Wake up, don't snooze your alarm. That's a victory. Fuck yeah, we already have one on the day. Check it off, right? Wake up, maybe send a sick email to someone, maybe apply for something, like, okay, sick, check off, a win number 2 for the day. Just little things like that stack up over time. And I think that's how you build self-confidence. And I'm a firm believer in that. Like, just doing exactly what you say you're going to do and stacking up those little wins over time is how you build self-confidence. I think people are insecure because they say stuff, but they don't actually follow up and do the stuff that they say they're going to do. And subconsciously they're like, I'm a liar. Like I don't have good self-confidence because, you know, I didn't accomplish the stuff that I'm saying. But like, if I say something, I'm going to do it. Right. And I think that if a lot more people live with that, you'll be more confident and you'll be that alpha. You'll be that person that, you know, can be in a room and talk to people, can, have success in their job, can make the money, can do this, can do that, as long as you just believe in yourself and you keep promises to yourself and you stack up that self-confidence.
100%. I think it's you versus the man in the mirror, as Tony Romo once said. I think once you can conquer that man in the mirror, no one else matters. That's just fucking how it is. No one else matters. And I love how you talk about, you can wake up with two options. You can either, go down on yourself, be down on yourself, and just constantly shit on yourself, or you can, hey, it's a new day. It's a new, I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be on this, this earth. And hey, time to rise, time to grind, time to shine, and really rock out. And I love that mentality. I think that's, how you overcome obstacles is one day at a time, being better than the day before. This too shall pass. I think that's the biggest, message out there. This too shall pass. You will get through that hard time. You will be able to get through that dark time, and you're going to survive and you're going to conquer, and that is really, and one of the big things is, and you can relate to this, go to the fucking gym, go to the fucking gym. And I think it's so underestimated what the gym and fitness can do. And obviously, you're big into fitness and you're big into the gym and you got your own thing going. And I think fitness is so important. So let me ask you this. What is your biggest tip for someone who's looking to get into their fitness journey like you once were?
100%. I am a firm believer, and this is how, I preach all my programs. This is how I relate it to people and things like that. I'm a firm believer, and everyone's routine looks completely different. Whatever that looks like for you, I'm a firm believer in like sustainable, balanced. I'm not like a bodybuilder type of thing. I don't go to the gym 7 days a week. I don't preach that to my clients. I think you need to make it fun to make it a long-term lifestyle. So if you enjoy running, go fucking run, right? I hate running. I'm not going to run. I can tell you that much right now, right? If you like, lifting 7 days a week, I wouldn't recommend it, but go do it, right? That's your thing. Like whatever you enjoy doing, if you can do something consistently over a long period of time and you're not going to get, bored from it, or you're not going to like fall on and off. Like I hate when people are like, oh, I fell off my diet, or like, I haven't gone to the gym in 3 months. I just didn't go one day and just never went back. Like when you make it a lifestyle, when you incorporate some things that fit into your lifestyle the right way and it's balanced, you're never on and off. It's just part of your lifestyle, right? So like, it's just, I'm a big believer in, I work out, strength train 3 days a week. I walk every single day. I get my steps in, I get my meals in, stuff like that. Like, and that fits into my lifestyle, whether I'm traveling, whether I'm this, I have a travel guide. There's so many different ways to make health and fitness a full year thing without it being like, oh, like I need to go into the gym and lift every day or go run 5 miles every day. Like health and fitness is so different than that. If that's what you like to do, go for it, right? But it doesn't have to be. And I think so many people think it's all daunting. It's like, oh, I can never have that body because I work a 9 to 5, or, I travel a lot or whatever. Like there are people that do that and look the way that you want to look. It's just about understanding what you need to do for yourself. And that's why every program that I put out is completely custom, and it's balanced and it's sustainable. Everything custom meal plan, custom workout program, accountability, everything for each individual client. And I'm a firm believer in customizing it to your preferences, customizing it to your schedule, to your habits, to your lifestyle, because that is the only way to make it a long-term sustainable lifestyle. Like most of my programs are 90 days, anywhere from 90 to 6 months. And you're not paying for that 90 days. You're paying for the duration of your life, right? Like that's the way I think about it. Because if we do it right, if we ingrain it in your brain, if you do it in a way that you find you like, right, and you can reach your goal and you can sustain it, now you're good on your own. After the 90 days is over, you don't need me and you're good. You can go out. You know what to do when you're out to dinner. You know what to do if you need to grab a couple of drinks, right? You know what to do if you're, it's just, it really is a lifelong thing. And I think that if more people make it fun and make it a way that fits into your lifestyle and a little bit more balanced for the normal common person, then more people can be in a lot better shape.
Yeah, 100%. Now, let me ask you this: which is more important, nutrition or training for someone who's looking to get into that fitness journey and looking to get fit? If I'm looking to kind of start on your your plan, which one would you incorporate more, fitness or nutrition?
For sure. That's a great question. Nutrition. I always say 70% of your success. And this is where people are just like, they might not be lazy. They might not be this. They're just uneducated, right? And that's just a lack of information. And that's not, their fault. It's just they don't know enough about it. Like if you're trying to lose fat, right, which the 95% of my clients and the majority of people who are trying to get in shape are, right? They're trying to lose body fat. 70 to 75% of it is going to be what you put inside your body and like your steps, right? Like I have clients that they're like, oh, I don't have time to go to the gym. I want to lose. I'm like, all right, cool. This whole first month, we're just going to eat a certain way and we're going to get our steps in. Fuck the gym. You're not even going to step foot in the gym, right? Lose 10 pounds in that month. Just eating and nutrition. Like they're saying you can't outwork out a bad diet, right? Like if you know how to fuel your body and you do it in a fun way, you can still eat. Like I'm a big macros guy. So like if it fits your macros and you want to eat some chocolate, for dessert, go for it, right? You're not going to get fat, right? If you're within your macros, you're within your calorie count, you had your protein goal for the day, like things like that. So I try and incorporate those little tips and tricks for people to like cheat throughout the day, right? And still reach their goal. But to go back to your point, nutrition is the most important thing to a person's success when it comes to health and fitness, but it doesn't have to be restrictive.
100%. And are you still open for coaching, Josh? I think a lot of people might hit you up after this episode. Are you still open for coaching?
I'm very much open for coaching. We have a bunch of spots left heading into that new year. I have a bunch of good things in the works coming as well, and just always trying to reinvent the wheel and kind of push new ideas and help as many people as I can and kind of expand. But like I said, I really have a broad range of like who I help, but the majority of it is people trying to, lose some weight, lose some fat with a busy schedule, maybe have some kids, maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and kind of feel stuck and just want to get that energy back and want to feel good about themselves and kind of, level up their life. I'm a firm believer in if you get your health and fitness in check, and I'm not saying you have to be a bodybuilder, but if you just feeling good, you're healthy, right? Maybe you're losing a few pounds, everything else in your life levels up. And I've seen it day in and day out, every client that I help. And I will say that to the day I die. When you get that in your check, your mental is better. The opportunities that happen are better. You're more sharp at work. You have a better relationship with your partner. Like everything, you can talk to people. You feel more confident about yourself. You can take your shirt off in public places. Like everything in life levels up when you dial in your health and fitness. And I think that if more people just take that chance, invest in yourself, spend that money and listen to that coach, it will change your life.
100%. And whether that be go on the treadmill for 5 minutes, next day 10 minutes,
Correct.
Next day 15 minutes, next day 20. I don't fucking know. Keep on progressing every day, keep on becoming better every day. I think that's really the key. And I've learned if you're, not mentally fit and you're not physically fit, you're not going to be the complete version of yourself, as obviously you mentioned, with being more outgoing, more confident, more just overall enjoying life. And now I also did see, speaking of, really getting out there, you're having a supplement strip coming out as well. Is that's still on?
Correct. Yes, that is been working on it for a while here. I've mostly predominantly just had my fitness company, right? Just been focused on that. Grew that to what it is. Been fortunate enough to help, over 1,000 people in the last 2 years. So it's been absolutely amazing. And then now I'm actually coming out with a supplement called Revive. It's spelled REEVYV. It'll be coming out early in 2024. We're just about starting production of it right now, just kind of tying up some loose ends there, but super excited about it. The majority of people that I see that their problems are, and this is kind of my inspiration for creating it, was my energy levels are super low, or I have a hard time sleeping or staying asleep, or my recovery is kind of slow or something like that, right? So it's basically a strip that you can put on your tongue. We're going to have one for energy, one for sleep right before you go to bed, and then one for recovery to help you recover either after a night of drinking and or just helping you after the gym, muscles, things like that. It's really hydrating and stuff like that. So we're going to have 3 different supplements, all strips that you put on your tongue. Super quick, convenient, easy, fast acting, goes into your bloodstream. You don't have to go out and buy a drink or, all these gummies or pills or whatever and kind of store them. You can throw it right in your purse. You can leave it at work. You can keep it in your car. And it's going to really revolutionize the way that we get energy, how quick it is, everyone wants convenience, right? And like something that's quick, easy, and doesn't make you jittery or crash or anything like that. So it has all of that, and I'm super excited for it to come out. I've gotten really good feedback. We just got, all our samples. I'm starting to have a bunch of people more kind of get on board and try everything and go through that. But yes, it's in the early stages, but I'm super excited and I can't wait to drop it. I think it's going to be a killer.
That is going to be absolutely killer. And Underdog Talk, I mean, check out Josh's Instagram page on that. I saw you already had an Instagram with that going. Follow that. And, first person to, who needs coaching and to get coaching, go to Josh and we'll give you a nice little care package as well. Signed Brandon Cook's helmet out to you as well. I mean,
oh yeah,
Brandon Cooks is the guy, was on the podcast. Go Cowboys. Now, Josh, before we go, the floor is yours, man. Where can we find your Instagram? Obviously you talked about where we can find, your supplement strips. And do you have a separate page for your fitness coaching as well?
I do, but it's also linked on my main Instagram. So my main Instagram page is _josh.goldie_. And then the same thing, my TikTok is the same exact tag. And then I believe my tag for my fitness page, which is linked in the bio of my main page, is jgoldie_fit, something like that. I've changed it a few times. But again, it's linked right in there. And then same thing, Revive, REEVYV_strips is also linked in my bio. So everything that you can kind of find is right there in my main page, _josh.goldie_. But yeah, man, that's where you can basically find me on everything and kind of go from there. If you guys are interested in coaching, I'd love to help you. Hit me up on Instagram and we can kind of open that conversation and see if it's a good fit for y'all.
100%. And again, first person to send me that DM after you talk with Josh, I'll get you some gifts out to you as well. Guys, I mean, don't forget to check out Josh's new supplement company because that really could be revolutionary. In fact, not could be, it will be revolutionary. I mean, I think we all want that convenient energy, that convenient recovery. And I mean, just putting someone on your damn tongue can't be easier than that. I mean, right. Guys, all his links will be in the bio. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this. Until next time, guys, the Love Island Guru and the Underdog